Hi, this is Chef Engle coming to you this afternoon from my kitchen. This is my granddaughter Scarlett.
Hello. I took a break from my homework to help my grandpa prepare dinner.
Excellent. So today we're going to make turkey meatballs, and we're going to talk about a couple of techniques that give the turkey better flavor and feel, mouthfeel. The ground beef and pork and veal certainly taste better, but the turkey is what Grandma bought, and apparently it's better for us. So now we got to figure out how to make it taste good. So if you could help me out, start by mincing up some mushrooms, that would be great, and I'll start talking about what we're going to do. So one of the ways that we're going to give the turkey more moisture and better mouthfeel is using an old technique called a panada. The panada is typically white bread soaked in milk, or it can be stock as well. And there are some people that use gelatin as well to improve the mouthfeel of meatballs, but we're not going to be working with that today. So panada is basically fresh white bread or panko we're using right here, using what we have in the house. And we're going to use a little bit of chicken stock and let that soak in. And we're going to use a little bit of milk and let that soak in as well. And that is going to provide that moisture and feel that we're really looking for. We'll let that soak in the meantime. So Scarlett's mincing up some mushrooms. We have some onions that she prepared earlier, some red peppers as well, and some garlic. And we're going to be using that for some good flavor and seasoning. We'd love to be using fresh herbs, but right now they're a little bit scarce and it's a little too early in the growing season to be able to get those. So we're going to use a variety of dried herbs to do that as well. I also found some flavored olive oil that my wife had, some Tuscan herb olive oil, and we'll try using that as well. And we're going to saute these things. So the panada is soaking up that milk and chicken stock as we speak, and this is also a binder. It's used in charcuterie, sausage making, when using lean protein like chicken, turkey, seafood, scallops, things like that, making mousses and sausages and so forth. So it should work quite well for our turkey meatballs. We're going to be using about a pound of ground turkey. It's 95% lean. So again, not much fat to give it all the flavor that we're looking to have. Move your homework over here for later, Scarlett. Right. So I'm going to start by kind of breaking up the turkey a little bit, make it a little bit easier to mix the ingredients as we go, while our panada is soaking up all that chicken stock and milk. Some of the herbs, the Italian herbs that we use a little bit of basil, and we're going to use a small amount of thyme, very small amount, very strong, and we have some fresh basil, oregano I should say, in here, and some fresh parsley as well. Also like this garlic and herb seasoning found in the cabinet, seems to work out very, very well. So we're going to have a little bit of that as well. Put that off to the side. Scarlett, I'm going to start warming your pan up.
Okay.
Turn this down, let the pan warm up and season.
Okay.
And get it conditioned and all ready to go for you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Focusing on that. We'll get that done. Doing a good job with those mushrooms. The mushrooms are going to give a little bit of a flavor to it, a nice kind of earthy flavor, and a little bit of sweetness, and just some overall good flavor characteristics. We want to kind of dress this up just a little bit. So you're doing good. The pan is conditioning, working pretty well. So notice that Scarlett's using good technique with her knife cuts, using the claw, being very careful with her chef knife there. Cutting the mushrooms up nice and small. They're going to shrink up. They have quite a bit of moisture inside of them, so they're going to shrink up, and all she has to do is work on mincing them up a little bit more, and we should be close to ready to go. Pan is not quite hot yet. But you'll finish finish up with those. All right, so Scarlett's about finished up. Doing good. Great job. I think that's about what we're going to need.
Okay.
Good. Leave your knife there. Excellent. Go ahead, put the knife down. Okay. So we'll add a little bit of the Tuscan olive oil that we had to use. Why don't you go ahead and add your onions into the pan?
Okay, Grandpa.
Okay, start with that. More mushrooms are working with, the onions are working with there. And we're going to add the red peppers so they can get a little color as well. So you're looking to caramelize those onions.
Okay, Grandpa.
Get some nice brown on them like you did the other day. And remember to control your heat. If the pan gets too hot, you feel like it's getting too hot, you can turn it down a little bit. Right now I think it looks good. So let them sit a little bit, start to caramelize. Remember you can move it around like this if you'd like. Okay, and we want it to caramelize and not draw all the moisture out. Once it starts to brown up, we'll slow down the cooking process a little bit, cook it all the way through so it'll work good with the meatballs.
Okay. They're starting to brown up. I want to move them around so they don't get brown sticks or anything.
That's good. Very good. All right, work them in the middle there. Excellent. Keep cooking those. We still need some color. So. Excellent. Work them back to the middle a little bit where the heat's at. Great job. And let them sit over the flame. We can control the temperature. We'll turn it up just a little bit right now.
Okay.
Get the color that you're looking for, and then we can turn it back down. Excellent. Takes a little patience to wait for the onions to cook, but the result is you get a much sweeter onion. You found that out the other day. You were crying, cut me onions, but when we cook them down, what do they taste like?
They taste really good.
Nice and sweet.
Yep.
That's exactly.
And they didn't burn my eyes anymore because it's caramelizing.
Yeah, caramelizing, getting us a good flavor and color in there. Okay, now it looks like you got a good temperature, so we're going to just turn the heat down a little bit so it don't burn. Go ahead and keep cooking. Starting to get a nice little brown in there. Get the center so that doesn't brown up too much on us. Very good. Keep working it around. All right, why don't you add the garlic in? All right, scrape that out with your rubber scraper. Good job. Okay, and we're going to add your mushrooms here that you worked on. Get those done. So now the mushrooms have some moisture in them, Scarlett. And in a little bit, that moisture is really going to start to come out. So just work them flat in the pan and let them cook. We'll put the rubber spatula down for a little bit. Okay. Shake it out. So that noise you hear is not the oil frying the onions anymore. What you're starting to hear now is the moisture being released from the mushrooms. You're kind of steaming the mushrooms a little bit. That's why we want to leave it alone. We want to get that heat back in so it continues to cook and brown these items up and not just steam them, make them wet and wet and mushy. All right. I'm going to get the cutting board and the knives out of the way for right now. Sure.
much or stick to the pan.
Absolutely. You're starting to get a real nice smell there, right?
Yep.
So we're going to just cook that around. I think you got a good temperature going on.
Okay.
Go ahead, keep working those. Make sure you work the center, that's where the heat's at. Put these seasonings and things out of the way so we can work. Center real good. Alright, it looks good. Once you get it into your bowl, pick the pan up and scrape that out. Keep the rubber spatula with you.
Okay.
Alright. Go ahead and tilt that into the bowl. Excellent. Alright, I hope you got that pan a little heavy.
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Work on that.
Should I turn the heat off then, Pop?
Oh yeah, put the pan down, turn the heat off, that'd be great. Perfect. Turn that all the way off. And we'll get rid of this. We'll be using another pan a little bit to brown the meatball, which is good. Once you start mixing this, okay, mix it all together. And the other day, when we were talking about meatloaf, we used an egg as a binder as well.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to continue in that tradition and use the egg.
Okay.
This is one of your chicken eggs right here that we got.
Really?
Yes, it is. One of the bigger ones. I don't know why your chickens have been making smaller eggs. I think they're laying out on the job.
That's why we did get 3 Americanos.
Americana?
Yeah.
They produce larger eggs.
Yes. Like, not like Bantams. Bantams have smaller eggs like this big, I would say. And Americanos actually like green and blue eggs.
Oh, excellent. Well, we're just looking for a good large egg. So you said that's an Americana? Good chicken for that?
Yes.
Okay. How long is it before they can start laying eggs?
Usually when they're about,
Make sure you get your egg in there. What are you doing?
So my chickens started having babies and making eggs when they were about like a year old or like I would say.
That was like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, 6 months like that.
Yeah.
And when they're a year old, they start laying really good eggs.
Yeah.
But it takes them a while to get used to it.
Like it'll grow a little bit. So that's a slower growing chicken than other chickens that you eat.
Yes, bantams actually, they stay very little. An average size for a chicken is like this tall and this big for if you're talking about a rooster with their tail. A rooster just regularly would be this big without its tail. And a female would probably be like this big, shorter than a rooster.
Okay. That's the Americana chicken.
Yes, and just like peacocks, females they're pretty, but they're just less prettier than the males. If you saw my chicken Sparrow, he's really pretty. He has like all these different colors.
Yep.
On him, like blue, navy blue, like greenish.
Absolutely. So this is the panada.
Okay.
See how it's absorbed
Oh
all
yeah.
of the moisture into the breadcrumbs?
Yep.
So this will help bind as well, but it's going to help keep the moisture and flavor in there, a little bit of the chicken stock. And there's a little bit of the fat that's going to come from the whole milk that we use.
Okay.
So that's going to help us out.
Stirring all these ingredients together helps it not only stay, plain tasting, it helps it stay nice and flavory for when you eat it. And when you take a nice bite, it's not just plain again. It has a lot of flavor.
Well, you want it to be consistent all the way through.
Yep.
That's important. You're doing a good job there. And I think one other ingredient that we want to add is we have some real nice dried aged cheese, some Parmesan here. So we're going to grate a little bit of that in there, and this will give it a bit of a nice flavor. And I think that'll be good.
Grandpa, this is a good idea to add cheese, Parmesan cheese into it. But why? I thought you only put Parmesan cheese on top of the meatballs when they're all done.
Well, it gives it a nice flavor inside. The one last thing that I want to use, Grandma really likes it. There's some balsamic reduction. You like it too. It's got a nice sweetness to it, right?
I love it.
Okay, so we're going to use just a tiny little bit. We don't want to make it overwhelming.
Okay.
And it kind of gives it a nice aged sweetness.
Okay.
I think it's going to be good in there. We have to watch not using too much because the sugar's in it will cause the meatballs to really brown up.
Since I love the balsamic vinegar so much, I'm probably when I eat these tonight, or since I'm probably gonna be leaving to go back to my house after this, I'm gonna have one for lunch probably here, and I'm probably gonna put a bunch load of this on it because it's so good. It's like one of my favorite dressings ever.
It is good. Here, let me get in there. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna just check it. You did a great job mixing that. Looks really, really good. You see this is a little bit moist.
Yeah.
So when you're rolling it, you're gonna have to be delicate, but that's okay because this will stiffen up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the balls down here.
Okay.
Once you switch sides, and you're gonna roll them. Once you roll them, start putting them up here.
Okay.
Once we get that done, then we'll have you cook them, brown them up, and we'll finish them in the oven.
Okay.
So once you start rolling the meatballs.
Wait, taking them up and rolling them in my hands.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The best way. You got to get in there, work the meatballs nice and round. When they're done, set them right up here.
Okay.
We'll work through these real quick. Great job. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You all right?
Yep. I also learned that it might be 30 or 40 from this because when I was baking with my mom, she taught me that like if you had a very something as big as that chunk of meat or cookie dough, let's say, it can turn out to be a lot. They say a little is a lot.
That's true. That is true. I think we're going to have a lot of meatballs. You guys are going to have to come over for dinner tonight. Huh?
Yeah.
Grandma will enjoy this.
Yep.
What are we going to have the meatballs with? Do some pasta, something like that?
Pasta, yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see if we had any bread, we could put that oil in it, like that type of oil. We could dip it in there. That would be really good.
We have some Italian bread.
Yep.
I'll check and see. I think one of the things we can make this week is bread.
Oh yeah.
I got some sourdough culture over there.
I
We
have
can make
yeast.
some nice. We have some yeast, and that is a good way to do it. And we also have this natural sourdough culture that we've been keeping. I brought a little bit home to keep it alive on our break here.
Okay.
And we can use that as well.
Okay.
So these are definitely delicate, right? The
Yep.
moisture in them.
Yep. The reason why you don't want to squish it to try to make it into a ball is because it's so moist that you might mess it up and make it too, well, let's just say too smushy, and then
Too
it's
smushy,
going to be
that's-
really hard to get it
Is that a
into a ball.
technical term, smushy?
I guess so.
I guess so. All right.
All
So-
of them?
They're not all rolled, but we're going to keep going. What I'm going to do is bring the pan and let you start to cook the meatballs.
Okay.
And then I'll continue rolling them.
Okay. You see how a few of these meatballs are all clumpy? When you roll them, it helps them to stay not clumpy, and when you eat them, it has a nice texture to them.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got a pair of tongs you can work with and a rubber spatula. Get that straightened up for you. And we'll see where it works. Okay, so we'll use a little bit more of this oil
Okay.
once you move down to the pan there.
Should I wash my hands first?
Well, yes, that's probably a good idea. So once you wash your hands, I'll lower the temperature to get the pan conditioned while we work. And then as we put the meatballs in, we'll be real careful with them. Try and keep their shape.
Okay.
Alright. So you can see the olive oil is kind of dancing around in the pan there, right?
Yep.
So what does that indicate to you?
I think it means that it's starting to get hot.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're going to look for. So I'll place these in here.
Okay.
Okay, we got to be real gentle with them. And then we're going to turn them. You can use the rubber spatula. We can try the tongs.
Okay.
This mixture again is a little bit thin.
Okay. You saw when I washed my hands after I touched all that raw meat. That's so that like after you touch anything raw, like raw meat, raw turkey, you always have to wash your hands so you don't make anything else that you touch raw and then like
Cross-contaminate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. You remembered that, didn't you? Always keep your family safe. Yeah. So we have a few meatballs in the pan there.
Okay.
We'll be cautious with them, and then we'll cook the second batch when we need to. In the meantime, I'm going to wash my hands. Yeah, once you tilt this so the oil works down. Alright, so we can kind of see some steam coming off here.
Yep.
But we don't want to overheat the oil. So what we'll do is turn the pan down just a little bit.
Okay.
Now we got to kind of figure out how to move these around, being that they're a little bit on the soft side. I don't think we ought to squeeze them with the tongs. So what we can do is just real gentle move them.
Okay.
And then that'll make sure the base, the bottom where it's on the pan, is not going to scorch on us.
Okay.
Right? And then refrigerating these for a little while would make them a little bit stiffer too.
Okay.
But trying to make this one video. So I think when they're ready to turn, Scarlett, you get your hand in here,
Okay.
okay, and turn these over real gentle.
Okay.
All right. Be cautious. You shouldn't have a problem. Don't be afraid of the oil there. Come on. It's not gonna hurt you. Well, not too bad anyway. Here, want a little help with that?
Yep.
Okay. See, what you want to do is get under the meatball.
Okay.
And,
And then
you want
flip it?
and then turn it over. We got to maintain its shape. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you work on getting underneath of it? Well, that's good. So use your other hand here to let it down easy.
Okay.
Go ahead, get your hand in there. You'll be all right. Come over. Good. Keep that nice shape. Good job. Excellent. We'll brown them up nicely. I'm turning the heat down a little bit while we're working on that. Okay, go ahead.
Now.
Oh, come on now. You'll be alright. Little tiny grease burn's not going to hurt you. What's going on here with this meatball?
I don't know.
You don't know. I don't know either. Doesn't look like a meatball anymore. Get your hand in there. When you put them back down to keep their shape nice.
Okay.
Okay? Don't crush other ones as you're doing it. Did you get a little help with those last two?
Yep.
Okay. So once we get a nice little bit of brown on them, I think part of the browning, I mean, yes, it's definitely coming from the turkey, but from some of the balsamic we have in there. Get these shaped up a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit better. We're going to just put this down, and why don't you go put it in the oven. I have the oven preheated to 350.
Wait, what?
The oven's preheated to 350.
Okay.
Why don't you put these in the oven?
Okay.
And you can put the whole pan inside.
Okay.
Close the door up. Alright, excellent. Great job. So what we'll do is we'll clean up a little bit here.
Okay.
Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We've had a chance to clean up. Why don't you go get those out of the oven?
Yeah, because they smell really good. You better taste them.
Here's your towel right over here. Nope, in the oven. smell good.
Yep. Okay, can you help me a little?
Here, put that down. Right here. Put it down right here. Good job. Very good. Leave this on here because it's hot.
Okay.
And that'll tell everybody it's hot and nobody can work that way.
Okay.
They smell really, really good. Come on over. There you go. I'll get one for you so we can taste it.
Okay.
See how it is. Okay, so certainly the shape could be a little bit better, but we've chilled the other batch, and they should keep their shape just a little bit better. So let's check it out. Yeah, they look good, cooked all the way through. You can smell them. They got a great smell to them. Let's try them. Let's taste them. See how they are. What do you think? Kind of hot, huh?
Yeah, I feel like they're very moist. You can taste like the peppers, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
A
good.
little bit of the Parmesan cheese.
Yep.
I think these will be good tonight for dinner. Looking forward to it. Well, great. So you want to wrap it up?
Yep. Thank you for watching. I gotta get back to my homework. So, bye.
Have a good day.